Hello everyone, my name is Kaylee Kahanan, and today we're going to go over the physiology of bee stings. This is going to be for all my gardener friends and my friends that spend time outdoors. So first, we're going to go over how common bee stings are in the United States, what the active ingredients in the bee sting are, and the physiological effects. After that, we're going to go over how we can avoid them and what to do for stung, so a few treatment options. In this first slide here, we have three pictures. In figure 1, we have a bee sting that still has the stinger in the skin. In figure 2 and 3 is it after it's removed and kind of irritated. So how common are bee stings in the United States of America? In this next slide here, we have a survey that was done. If you look at the very top right under mosquito, bee has a 75% chance out of the poll taken of someone being stung. So that's quite a high number. These numbers are really high in the South and Midwest, but they're not as common in the Northeast or West. They're also common in pretty rural areas. And if you look, bees were actually rated number 6 on the pain scale for being a really high pain. So what are the active ingredients in a bee sting? So we have melittin, phospholipase A2, and hyaluronidase. Melittin is what's going to cause the minor reactions in the bee sting. It makes up about 60% of the bee venom, making it the most venomous compound in the bee sting. Next, we have phospholipase A2. This is going to be the second biggest compound in the venomous structure, and it's going to cause more major allergic reactions. Lastly, we have hyaluronidase. This is going to be the enzyme that's going to help the toxin spread in your body and making it quick to distribute. So let's go over the physiological effects of the bee sting. So first, the bee is going to fly in, it's going to sting you, and you're probably going to say, ouch. So after the bee stings you and the barbed stinger gets in your skin, releasing all that venom, the tissue is going to start to degrade to those enzymes we talked about in the previous slide. So after that happens, histamine is released. And what histamine is something in your body, it's usually in response to an injury, allergic reaction, or even an inflammatory response. And it's going to help release cells to get your body to remove those toxins that the bee sting provided. After this inflammatory response is induced, you can experience pain and warmth in the area. Also some edema. Edema is just swelling caused by fluid being trapped into the body's tissues. And then arrhythmia. That's just a big fancy word for your skin being reddened due to injury or irritation. And the reason that this happens is because the capillaries in your body are being stimulated due to the injury. Next, we're going to go over how we can avoid these bee stings. So as we saw in the poll that was done, rural areas are really popular for bees, so stay away from that kind of area. Make sure you're clean, you're wearing clean clothes. Make sure your clothes are long sleeve, long shirt, preferably light colors because bees tend to stay away from that. But bees do love flowering plants and flowers, so you might want to avoid areas that have a bunch of flowers. Make sure your space is clean, so there's no trash, no old food to attract bees. And lastly, just avoid areas with a large bee population. So if you see a tree that has a hive, probably do not go stand under it and talk to your friend. But what do we do if we do get stung, right? So first, you want to remove the stinger immediately. You don't want to use tweezers because the tweezers are actually going to pinch more venom into your body. So you want to get something to scrape out the stinger. Next, you want to clean and disinfect the area and start icing. So icing is going to help reduce the swelling. The cold is going to restrict the blood vessels in that area and decrease the circulation where this is applied. Lastly, you can use medication, so Tylenol or ibuprofen to help with some pain management. After the bee sting, you want to make sure that you're watching out for the person that's been stung. Most people do not have severe reactions, but it's good to be mindful of someone who's been stung because you never know how they could react. Look out for swelling. That's in areas that have not been stung. Hives, nausea, vomiting, things like that. So if you see anyone experiencing those symptoms, you should bring them to the emergency room. That is all for my presentation today. I hope everyone has learned something and stay safe.